I didn't realize I was being used as someone's safety net until the moment she said it out loud like it was nothing. Looking back, the warnings were everywhere, blinking like hazard lights, but I kept telling myself it was just her personality. Just stress. Just jokes. Anything but the truth. I'm the kind of guy people call dependable when they don't know what else to say about you. I manage inventory and shipping for a regional medical supplier. It's not glamorous. Nobody claps when a hospital gets the right number of IV pumps on time. But when things go wrong, everyone suddenly remembers my name. I live by systems. I label the shelves in my garage. I keep receipts. I pay my credit card off every month. I drive a 10-year-old Tacoma with a cracked plastic cup holder that I've been meaning to fix for 2 years. Hey viewers, before we move on, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to hear more stories like this. Mira loved to say she liked that about me. The stability, the calm, the way I could solve problems without panicking. Mira was the opposite of calm. She worked in brand events and influencer partnerships, which meant her phone was always lit up with champagne glasses, velvet ropes, and people posing in front of backdrops with logos. She lived inside a world where everyone pretended they had money, even when they didn't. She had this effortless confidence that made strangers smile at her. She could walk into a room like she owned it, even if her bank account didn't. We'd been together for almost 3 years. I thought we were building something. In reality, I was financing her ability to look like she already had. We lived in a converted loft downtown, all exposed brick and big windows. It was the kind of place that made Mira's Instagram look expensive. I paid the rent. I paid the utilities. I paid the parking spot in the garage because she said street parking was depressing. I covered groceries and insurance. When something broke, I fixed it or replaced it. Mira's paycheck was hers. It went to skin treatments, salon appointments, Pilates packages, boutique workouts that promised to change your life in 6 sessions, and a constant stream of outfits that showed up in cardboard boxes and disappeared into donation bags a month later. She would say things like, "I need this for work," as if her job required a new dress every time she went out in public. I didn't mind at first. I told myself it balanced out. I told myself her world was louder, more social, more chaotic, and if I handled the boring foundation, she could focus on her career. We were a team, but there was always one shadow in the room with us. His name was Connor. Connor wasn't a ghost to Mira. He was a landmark, a reference point, a lifestyle she kept glancing back at, like she was checking a map to see how far she'd fallen. Connor was her ex from before me. She described him the way people describe a luxury car they can't afford anymore. Loud, fast, dangerous, exciting. A man who did not believe in limits. He owned a small chain of co-working spaces and talked constantly about growth, leverage, and scaling. He had connections. He wore watches that cost more than my truck. He posted pictures from rooftop pools and private planes and the kind of restaurants where the menu didn't have prices. Mira told me they broke up because he was selfish, unavailable. A guy who treated emotions like an inconvenience. But even while she condemned him, she missed what his money bought. It started as little comments. A constant hum of comparison that never fully shut off. Connor would have gotten us a table already, she'd say, if the hostess told us it would be a wait. Connor never made me fill the gas tank, she'd mutter when we stopped at a station. Connor's friends have a guy for this, she'd sigh when my contractor buddy couldn't fit us into his schedule. I took it all. I swallowed it. I told myself she was just venting, just nostalgic, just trying to express how tired she was of struggling. The truth was, she wasn't struggling. She was inconvenienced. Because Connor had spoiled her into thinking life was supposed to feel effortless. Then November happened. Mira's car, a used Mercedes she bought because she said it made her feel like herself, started making a grinding sound and then died in the middle of an intersection. When I got there, she was standing on the curb with her arms crossed like the world had personally insulted her. The tow to the shop cost $200. The estimate was worse. Transmission work. $2,900 and change. She stared at the number like it was a prank. She had been on a weekend trip with girlfriends the week before, and I knew exactly where her savings went. Beach clubs, bottle service, photos that made her look like she was living in a music video. "I can't believe this," she said at the kitchen island when the shop emailed the quote. "It's like the universe hates me." I took a breath, opened my budgeting app, and moved some money around. I didn't want to. I could feel the resentment forming, but I pushed it down because I loved her and because I thought this is what partners do. "I'll cover it," I told her. "But we need to be more careful next month. No more spontaneous trips, okay? Let's rebuild the emergency fund." She didn't thank me. She looked at me like I had just proved some disappointing point. "You know what Connor did when my car had issues?" she said. "He didn't give me a lecture. He just called the dealership and I had a new car by dinner." My hands went still. "Mira," I said quietly, "Connor isn't here. I am." She rolled her eyes like I was being dramatic. "I know," she said. "I'm just saying it's exhausting being with someone who worries about every dollar. It's stressful. Sometimes I miss not having to think." I should have ended it right then. I should have heard what she was actually saying. She missed having a sponsor. She missed having a man who could solve problems by throwing money at them without blinking. Instead, I did what I always did. I tried to stabilize the situation. I told myself she didn't mean it. I told myself stress makes people cruel. I told myself once we got engaged, once she felt secure, she would stop looking over her shoulder at Connor's world. I had already been thinking about proposing. So I doubled down. I started picking up overtime. I stopped eating out. I cut my own small comforts, like the gym membership and weekend coffee runs. I sold a few things I didn't use anymore, old camera gear and some tools I rarely touched. For 6 months, I acted like a man on a mission. I didn't want debt. I didn't want to start a marriage with payments on a ring. I wanted something clean and intentional. Shopping for an engagement ring is like stepping into a museum where every exhibit is designed to make you feel unworthy. The lighting is perfect. The attendants speak softly. Everything is framed to look like a dream, and you're supposed to prove you deserve it. I researched for weeks. I learned more about diamonds than I ever wanted to know. Cut, clarity, color, the way certain lighting hides flaws, the way the industry sells insecurity like it's romance. I couldn't afford the kind of massive stone Mira liked on her feed. Those rings looked like small headlights. But I found something beautiful within my reality. A 1.1 carat diamond. Not huge, but crisp and bright. Excellent cut. It threw sparks when I tilted it under the jeweler's lamp. I had it set in a simple platinum band with tiny accent stones. Elegant, classic. The kind of ring that looked expensive because it was made well, not because it was obnoxious. Total cost $8,200. 2002. That was nearly everything I had saved beyond my retirement and emergency fund. I booked dinner at a place Mira had mentioned more than once, a restaurant inside an art hotel called the Meridian. It was all dark wood and soft jazz and waiters who moved like they were trained for it. The kind of place that made Mira sit up straighter just to match the atmosphere. The night started with her criticizing everything in a way that was almost casual. "Our table is too close to the bar," she said. "The candle smell is weird," she said. "They don't have that specific rosé I like," she said, and then added, "Connor used to get it shipped from France." I forced a smile and told myself to finish the night. Just finish it. I waited until dessert. A chocolate thing with gold flakes that tasted like sugar and stress. My heart was pounding. I reached into my jacket pocket and felt the small box like it was burning through the fabric. "Mira," I said, and my voice sounded too thin to my own ears. She was scrolling on her phone. She glanced up, saw my face, and saw the box. Her eyes widened, and she put the phone down. "Oh my God," she whispered, and for 1 second I thought it was going to be okay. I didn't do a big speech. All the words I rehearsed fell apart in my mouth. I just opened the box and slid it across the table. The diamond caught the low light. It didn't just sparkle, it flashed. It was gorgeous. It was the best I could do without destroying my future. Mira stared at it. The silence stretched longer than it should have. She didn't tear up. She didn't cover her mouth. She didn't reach for my hand. She tilted her head and leaned in, studying it like she was evaluating a purchase. "It's," she said, and her voice drifted off. Then she looked up at me with a flicker of disappointment that made my stomach drop. "It's kind of small, isn't it?" I felt the air leave my lungs. "What?" I managed. "I mean, it's sweet," she said, like she was trying to sound kind. "But look at my hands. My fingers are long. This is going to look tiny on me." I sat there frozen, hearing the restaurant as if it was underwater. "Mira," I said, "I saved for months for that. It's a high-quality stone. It's good." She sighed, the kind of sigh that sounded like I was exhausting her. "I know you work hard," she said. "It's just that Connor's girlfriend posted her ring yesterday. It's like huge, and they're not even engaged that long. He just did it. You know." Her eyes dropped back to the ring with a kind of bored pity. "My ex would have bought me the big diamond," she said. "The real one. Not this starter ring thing." Something inside me didn't explode. It simply shut down, like a breaker flipping. I looked at her and suddenly I could see everything clearly. The way she let me pay for life while she spent on appearances. The way she treated my caution like weakness. The way Connor lived in her head rent-free while I was paying actual rent. I became calm in a way that scared even me. "You're right," I said. Mira blinked, surprised. "I am," I repeated. "You deserve that world. You deserve the giant rock and the penthouse and the private trips. You deserve Connor's style." Relief washed over her face. She thought she had won. She thought I was about to say, "I'll upgrade it, I'll finance something bigger, I'll chase your standard." "I knew you'd understand," she said quickly. "We can return it and just do something bigger. It's fine if it's payments. Everyone does payments. No payments," I said. I reached out, took the box, and snapped it shut. The sound was sharp. Final. I slid it back into my jacket. Mira's smile faltered. "Wait," she said. "What are you doing?" I signaled the server and asked for the check. "I'm fixing a mistake," I said. "Don't be dramatic," she laughed, but there was panic behind it. "Let me see it again. It's shiny. It'll work until we upgrade." I paid for dinner. I didn't look at her while I signed. "I'm not upgrading the ring, Mira," I said. And I'm not upgrading us." I stood up. Her voice rose. "You're leaving me here. We rode together. How am I supposed to get home?" I looked at her hand gripping my wrist, manicured nails digging into my skin like she could physically stop reality. "Call Connor," I said. I pulled free and walked out. Outside, the air was cold and clean, like I had stepped out of a polluted room. My phone started vibrating immediately. Calls, texts, messages stacked on top of each other. I didn't answer. I drove home in silence. At the loft, I moved like I was on autopilot. Suitcase, clothes, toiletries, laptop, important documents, the spare keys. I left my keys on the counter next to a pile of unopened mail that I already knew was bills. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I simply extracted myself. I checked into a cheap hotel near the highway, the kind of place Mira would have mocked. The sheets were clean. The room was quiet. I turned my phone off and slept like I had been holding my breath for years and finally exhaled. At 8:57 a.m., I was awake. The jeweler opened at 9. I was standing outside like a man waiting for a pharmacy to open, desperate for the antidote. The same associate who had congratulated me the day before looked confused when she saw me. "Back so soon," she said. "Resizing." I placed the box on the counter. "I need to return it." Her expression changed, and in that moment I could tell she had seen this story before. Did she say no? she asked softly. She said it was too small, I said. She said her ex would have bought the big one. The associate's face hardened into something like sympathy mixed with anger. She nodded once. I can process the return, she said. Because the setting was custom, there's a restocking fee. 15%. It's in the contract. I did the math without thinking. I would lose over $1,200. Do it, I said. Are you sure? You can do store credit. I don't want store credit, I said. I want to be done. Run the card. When I walked out with most of my money refunded, I didn't feel like I lost cash. I felt like I paid a fee to get my life back, a stupid tax, a ransom, and it was worth every dollar. In my truck, I turned my phone on. It nearly overheated from notifications. There were so many messages the screen stuttered. Mira swung from rage to sorrow to bargaining like she was trying different keys in a lock. You embarrassed me. Where are you? I didn't mean it. Please come home. I love the ring. I was stressed. I didn't read them all. I typed one message with a steadiness that surprised me. I returned the ring this morning. I'm contacting the landlord to remove my name from the lease. You have 30 days to figure out your situation. Do not contact me again. Her response came instantly. You returned it. Are you insane? You threw away 3 years over one comment. You are so fragile. Connor would never run away like this. Even in her panic, she used him as a weapon. I stared at his name on the screen and felt nothing but clarity. I sent one final sentence. If Connor is so perfect, tell him you're single. Then I blocked her. I blocked her on everything: phone, social, email, even the work messaging app she somehow found once when she wanted me to fix her printer. The next month was pure logistics. I moved out when I knew she was at work. Not because I was afraid, but because I didn't want a scene. I didn't want tears to try to rewrite facts. I took what I paid for. The couch, the TV, the kitchen appliances I bought, the mattress, the tools, the espresso machine Mira treated like furniture. When Mira came home, the loft looked like a stage after the show ends. Bare, empty, quiet. Mutual friends started sending me screenshots of Mira's stories. A real man handles a woman's emotions. If he leaves, he never loved you. Some men can't handle a strong woman. I didn't respond. Let her write her own myth. Reality would correct it. Because without my income, her fantasy collapsed fast. Mira made decent money, but she lived like she made triple. The loft cost more than she could qualify for alone. She couldn't keep up. She started selling clothes online. She tried to borrow money from friends she only invited out when someone else was paying. She posted pictures of fancy dinners that were really just one cocktail at a bar, framed to look like a whole night. Then she did exactly what I knew she would do. She called Connor. I heard it through a friend who still followed her. She posted a picture from a balcony view with city lights and wrote back where I belong, like she had reclaimed a throne. But she didn't move in. Connor didn't rescue her. He didn't pay her bills. He didn't suddenly become the generous prince in her memory. He used her. He liked having her show up late at night. He liked the ego boost. He liked the way she laughed at his jokes and took selfies that made him look successful. But he didn't give her a key. He didn't change his life for her. He ordered food delivery and sent her home before sunrise. She wasn't the girlfriend. She was the option. Meanwhile, my life got quieter in the best way. I moved into a smaller place across town, a simple apartment with less noise and more peace. I looked at my bank account at the end of the month and saw the number rise instead of sink. For the first time in years, I had breathing room. I started going back to the gym. I reconnected with my friends. I started doing things that didn't need approval. I bought new tires for my truck and didn't feel guilty. I went camping with buddies and didn't get mocked for liking simple things. I felt like a man again instead of a walking ATM. About 3 months later, I ran into someone from our old circle at a hardware store. He looked uncomfortable, like he was carrying bad news. "Have you heard about Mira?" he asked. "No," I said. And I meant it. She got evicted, he said quietly. Sheriff came, and everything. She tried to move in with Connor, but he has a new girlfriend now, some 22-year-old fitness model. Mira couldn't even get past the front desk. For a second, I felt the old reflex to rescue, the habit of being the one who fixes. Then I remembered her face under restaurant light, measuring my devotion by carats. That's tough, I said. She's asking about you, he added. Says she made a huge mistake. She didn't make a mistake, I said. She made a trade. It just didn't pay out. I thought that would be the end. I thought eviction would humble her enough to stop. I underestimated desperation. Because when people treat relationships like insurance policies, they don't accept being canceled. They look for a loophole. I had blocked her everywhere, so she found the one crack left. My work email. The first message showed up on a Tuesday morning with the subject line, "Just thinking about you." She wrote about being sorry, about doing a lot of reflecting, about how living back with her mother had been humbling, about missing the boring days, like she was suddenly nostalgic for the very stability she used to mock. I deleted it. 2 days later, another email. My car is broken again. The mechanic wants $1,800. I don't know what to do. You always knew how to talk to them so they didn't rip us off. I'm scared. I read that one twice. It wasn't romance. It was a request for infrastructure. She wasn't missing me. She was missing a man who handled life. She missed the guy who fixed, planned, budgeted, and carried the weight so she could float. I deleted that email too. Then she started appearing in places. The grocery store near my gym. The coffee shop I used to stop at on Saturdays. The parking lot of my building once, late at night. She didn't approach me at first. She just watched. Like if she could make me see her, the old version of me would step forward and repair everything. I refused to play. I started dating again. Not in a revenge way, in a normal human way. I met a woman named Tessa at a friend's birthday dinner. She was a physical therapist, practical, calm. She drove a Honda. She talked about her patients with genuine care instead of talking about parties like they were achievements. When we went out for dinner, she tried to pay her share. When I insisted, she thanked me like it meant something. Normal. It made me realize how abnormal Mira had been. The confrontation, though, was inevitable. Mira was running out of options. It happened at a rooftop charity mixer in January. A friend invited me because his company sponsored it. There was a live band, soft lights strung across the rooftop, and an open bar that made people a little too loud. Tessa was with me in a simple dress, smiling at my dumb jokes, making me feel like life could be easy again. Then I felt a hand clamp down on my arm. I turned. Mira. She looked like someone who hadn't slept. Her dress was familiar, older, the kind of outfit she used to call vintage when she didn't want to admit she couldn't buy new. Her hair wasn't perfectly styled. The shine was gone from her skin. The maintenance had clearly stopped. "Can we talk?" she demanded, and her voice was too loud for the setting. Tessa's eyes flicked to me, then to Mira, then back. She understood instantly and did something I will always respect. "I'm going to get another drink," she said softly, giving my hand a squeeze before walking away. Mira stepped closer like she was reclaiming territory. "You blocked me everywhere," she hissed. "You left me to rot." "I left you to the life you said you wanted," I replied, and my voice was calm. It surprised me how easy it was. "Connor is a monster," she said, tears appearing fast like she had practiced. "He used me. He kicked me out at night. He laughed when I asked for help. He treated me like I was nothing." "That sounds awful," I said. A few people nearby glanced over. Mira didn't care. She wanted an audience. She wanted pressure. "How can you be so cold?" she whispered. "We were together for years. You were going to marry me. I saw the ring. You loved me." "I did," I said. "I loved you enough to spend my savings on a promise. And you looked at that promise like it was an insufficient down payment." She reached for my hand. Her palms were damp. Her nails were chipped. I made a mistake, she said. I don't care about diamonds. I don't care about money. I just want you. I want my safe place back. Please, I'm drowning. Safe place. There it was. Not partner, not love, not respect. A place, a shelter, a service. I stepped back out of reach. You're not listening, Mira, I said quietly. You didn't want me. You wanted a sponsor. You treated our relationship like a transaction. You tried to trade up because you thought Connor was a better deal. Her face twisted. No, she whispered. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that, I said. You tried to trade up, but the market crashed. Now you're trying to sell yourself back to me like I'm your last option. She sobbed. Her mascara started to run. For a second, she looked smaller, almost young, like the confidence had been a costume she couldn't afford anymore. I didn't feel triumph. I didn't feel anger. I felt the quiet certainty of a man who finally learned his own value. Go home, Mira, I said. Figure it out yourself. You're an adult. I turned away. I walked back to Tessa, who was waiting near the railing with 2 drinks. She handed me one without asking questions, just offering support. The city lights shimmered in the distance like nothing in my life had ever been wrong. Everything okay? She asked. Yeah, I said, just closing an account I should have closed a long time ago. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Mira was already behind me where she belonged. A lesson paid for in time, money, and dignity. I paid the fee. I got my life back. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What would you have done in my place? Share it in the comments.